Hi everyone, welcome to the Raven Wolf channel. This is Anna, and I'm gonna be reading the rest of the chapter 1 of the Mayan Factor, The Path Beyond Technology by Jose Arguelles. The reason why I'm not showing myself in camera is because I look kind of rough right now. I had a really bad headache last night that started in the evening and it wouldn't go away. So, and it lasted all day. I mean, I woke up with it. It was a really bad migraine on the right side. But anyways, it's not important. I'm much better and I'm just gonna read it. So hopefully we can finish chapter 1, and then in the next, probably tomorrow or in a couple days, I will read the beginning of the chapter 2. So, okay, so last time we ended in the Mexican, the ancient Hunapku, like it's the yin yang kind of sign for. So, okay. Yet it was 1968, a time of unrest and violence everywhere. As we drove out of Mexico City, we listed the radio reports of the Tlatelolco riots, in which up to 400 students were killed. My thoughts turned more and more not only in the injustices in the world, but to the distorted views of prevail everywhere concerning the non-Western or the Third World. These concerns began to inform my teaching of art history, and at Davis, where I taught at the University of California, I became involved in the initial efforts in establishing a Native American college, the Ganahuira Quetzalcoatl University. It was through these efforts I met two renegade Native Americans, Tony Scherer and Son Bear. Tony was very involved in the prophecies of Quetzalcoatl and in the sacred calendar, which he very beautifully wrote about in the book called The Lord of the Dawn. A later book of his, Beneath the Moon and Under the Sun, also described the sacred calendar, and it contained the image, which I came to call the binary triplet configuration, the magic of 52-unit design within 260-unit sacred calendar matrix. It was through Tony's inspiration that I became further involved in studies of the sacred calendar, or named Solskin, as it has come to be called. It was Tony, too, who taught me about significance of the 1987 date in relation of the prophecies concerning the return of Quetzalcoatl. Son Bear effort as founding the Bear tribe and his clear call for returning to the land and the traditional way of life inspired me gently at the time that I was involved in setting up the first Whole Earth Festival in Davis. That was the Earth Day. In 1970, the launch of the ecology movement. These activities concern continue while I taught at Evergreen State College. It was there in the winter of 1972 that I met the traditional Hopi spokesman, Thomas Bayanka, who shared the Hopi prophecies. I shall always remember Thomas saying, "Only those who are spiritually strong will survive the passing of the fourth world and the coming of the fifth." Oh, wow. I understand that the time is closely related to 1987, the date which Tony had shared with me. The story of the Mayan and the ancient Mexico thought were most influential in putting together the book Transformative Vision of 1975, essentially a critique of the Western civilization using the metaphor of the right and left hemisphere of the brain. I used the Maya 5,125-year Great Cycle, which began in 3113 BC, at the end in 2012, AD 2012, along with the Hindu concept of the 4 ages of Yugas and Yates concepts of the ones of tincture as the frame for putting the modern left hemisphere tyranny in perspective. Yet the view of the transformative vision which appeared in established art of journal dismissed my efforts because I had the audacity to evaluate the Renaissance and the modern Western civilization from the perspective of such alien cosmologies as the Hindu and the Maya. In the summer of 1974, while teaching a class of Native American and pre-Columbian art of Naropa Institute, I completed a large version of the sacred calendar using the Mayan notion system. A similar version of the calendar appeared on the map 9 in the Earth Ascending. What struck me about this vision of the sacred calendar was the rhythmic effect of the 20 repetitions of notations going from 1 to 13. This was the first inkling I had that the calendar might be more than that. What is some kind of codes? What was it, some kind of codes? During this time in the mid-1970s, while living in Berkeley, I became involved in a short-lived educational project called the Shambhala Tojan Foundation. While Shambhala referred to the mythic kingdom of Central Asia, so fundamental to the teachings and prophecies lore of the Tibetan Buddhism, Tojan, or Tulan, represented the mythic city of the source of the wisdom teachings of the Maya and ancient Mexicans. To my intuition, some of yet obscure connections existed between two legendary domains, a connection not much on the earthly plane as in the etheric body of the planet. Was there at some ancient time congruence and synchronization of prophetic traditions between the likes of Shambhala and Tojan? Were the return of the warriors of Shambhala and the return of Quetzalcoatl in some way linked? While the vision of Shambhala Tojan Foundation outstripped my capacity in implement anything practical with it, I found that the Tibetan Buddhist teachings are major grounding for my mind. Throwing myself intensely into the meditation practices unavailable for me taught my teacher, Koyam Trunka, oh my gosh, Rinpoche. I know I butchered that name. I found in the Vajrayana teachings a vast context for my continuing observation of things Mayan. In particular, the teaching of mind only seemed most useful for further consideration of the Mayan calendars and its origins, and especially the philosophical or scientific basis. Like the Buddhist and Hindu cosmologies, the Mayan describe the universe of infinite cycles of time and being. If anything, the Maya is even more precise in computations of these cycles. In any case, the contemplations of far-ranging and all-encompassing cycles inevitable led to a consideration of the fact that we were not alone, that infinite order world system exists more involved than our own system. And if we are established greater knowledge and communication, how could it be but through the development of the mind, through the clarification and expansion of consciousness? During the mid-1970s, oh my gosh, my voice is starting to get scratchy here. During the 1970s, 2 other books were published that spurred my cosmological reflection of the Maya and their calendar, time and reality, in the thought of the Mayan by the Mexican philosopher Miguel León Portilla, an ancient mystic by Frank Waters. While sympathetic to the poetry of the Mayan imagination and extending comparison of the Mayan thoughts of the Chinese Taoism, León Portilla's study failed to penetrate to the actual science behind the calendar and the Mayan obsession with me. Frank Waters' study, on the other hand, has the virtue of presenting the prophetic traditions of the Maya and ancient Mexico and somewhat contemporary context. In particular, he focused on the end of the date great cycle, which he replaces in December 24 AD 2011, at the moment for major shifts in planetary consciousness, the coming 6th age of consciousness. In 1976, I traveled to Mexico yet again. This time I finally ventured on Mayan soil, and I visited the ancient site of Palenque. When my family and I arrived at Palenque, a tropical rainstorm buzzed down the heavens, scrambling up the 9-level pyramid of the inscriptions. We found shelter in the temple on the top. Looking out for the temple, we were greeted by a double rainbow that seemed an emanate not far from us temple. In the temple. Oh, hold on, you guys. My computer went to sleep, and whatever. There. Where was I? The rainstorm and the double rainbow that seemed to emanate not far from us in the Temple of the Winds. There is no question of the magic of Palenque. Double rainbow or not, here it is what the tomb of the leader Pacal Votan was directed in 1947, the only Egyptian-style pyramid tomb in Mexico. There is nothing in Palenque that is not harmonious. The low-relief sculptures of the foliated cross and the cross of the sun are beyond compare. It is the sarcophagus lid of the tomb of Pacal Votan. Yet, what engaged me the most were the remnants of the fresco paint in the Temple of the Winds. Yes, I had seen them before. They had filled my mind channel when I set out the paint of the doors of perception some 10 years earlier. Because of the pyramid tomb of Pacal Votan, whose funerary chamber is coated with the symbolisms of the Night Lords of the Night, one Night Lord of the time, the mystery of Palenque is especially intense. The feeling of abandonment and human silence is everywhere. At the same time, the jungle symphony washes its wave and crescenters of the continuous insect ecstasy. Typical of the great classic Maya centers that was left at their peak, Palenque begs the question, why was Palenque abandoned? Where did the priests and the astronomers and the craft people go? What knowledge did they take with them, and why? Not more than 100 of miles from Palenque, but high in the Sierra of Chiapas, close to Guatemala border, is the town of San Cristobal. Once a major colonial center, San Cristobal now seems slightly desolate, remote. Yet, occasionally in the streets, one sees them, the Lacaton Maya. The long black hair hanging down past their knees, dressed in simple white tunics. The Lacandon have managed to remain their own people, leading a sedentary and simple life in the jungles of lowland, where they keep up with the calendar and give life a rich dream life. Yielding few secrets, they come to San Cristobal to do a little trading, and then disperse again to their hunt. Seeing them, I was impressed. What a role do they presented, Lacandons. These descendants of the ancient astronomers play in the great drama of the world. It is, as the film Chuck suggests, to simply hold the vision, the aboriginal tone without which the world would fall apart even sooner than it's now appear it might be. How much occur at the level of the native psyche that we never see or know about, that yet mainly a necessary balance with the earth? Taking a cab out of San Cristobal one Sunday, we visited an outlying village in the old church, in which, simply a church in appearance, the Indians conducted their service. The smell of copal incense was rich and thick. The chanting voices could periodically reach a strange harmonic and then pass back to soft cacophony. Outside, the jefes, the local leaders, pass a silver-tipped staff among each other, deciding issues raised by their constitutes. Observing all and its wonder, who speak for those people? Or if they speak of an earth for the earth, and what is all that counts? They seeming gulf between present-day Maya and the builders of the ancient Maya cities is one of that cannot be judged by the criteria of the material progress. In reflection on the matters, I am reminded of the Hopi myth concerning Palak Kawapi, the mysterious red city of the south. In this story concerning the migration of the hot lands of the south, the fortress temple city of Palakawapi is built, but the purpose of the building is solely for the going and consolidating a system of knowledge. The command is that following its construction, the builders are not abandon their The command is that following its construction, the builders are not to abandon the city, leaving it as a memorial to knowledge. Well, I'm sorry about that. Grateful of this command, the inhabitants begin to fall into descendants. By clan rivalry arouses them. Recalling their mission, the people finally abandon Kalapkawapi, the mysterious red city of the south. The myth fit the Mayan perfectly. The purpose was to codify an established system of knowledge and science, and having codified it in stones and text, to move along. Civilization as we know it, a factory for the production of weapons and destructions of citadels, array of creature comforts, would not at all suit the purpose of knowledge system. Further factor enters the picture, since the system of knowledge and science of the Maya was so concerned with the cycles of time, understanding time as quantitative barrier of the conditions of cosmic or galactic seasons, they saw a period of gathering darkness on the horizon, and for that reason also knew it was time to call it quits and check out. Give out conditions of the world today. Who is to say that they weren't correct? I'm gonna stop there because my throat is kind of scratchy, but I want to show you guys this picture. This is the famous picture of Palenque, of the Pacal Voltan. That's Pacal Voltan. It's the famous picture that appeared in the, I think it was Ancient Aliens, that they think that he's in a spaceship. But anyways, I'm gonna have to cut it short here, you guys, but I'll pick it up maybe later tonight or tomorrow, because we still have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages left. So I'm gonna stop here where that picture of Pacal Voltan, and then we'll pick it up another time. All right, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.